brutality and racial hatred? Have we moved beyond that? I mean, that's one of the most ruthless things about the global war on terror, because first and foremost, it's a psychological war, and it's designed to create contempt, to create hatred towards basically Arab and Islamic people. It's a psychological war. Who would have thought in the 21st century that we would be dealing with religious wars, sponsored by the superpower? So in order for that kind of war to take place, you have to prepare people's minds. You have to dehumanize populations. Oh no, those people who were tortured in Afghanistan with the involvement of the Canadian government, the sodomized children that were reported last autumn in the Canadian bases. Peter MacKay stands up and says basically, these are people who throw acid in your eyes, who oppress women. In other words, they're not really human, and they don't need a trial. They're that kind of person. How did that come about? Who planted those memes? Who planted that propaganda that allowed that kind of hatred of one human group to another human group? I mean, that is the big war crime of our times. The mind, the contamination of the minds, and the fact that it's so difficult to talk about the real issues, and it's so rare that you find people brave enough, like the two people I'm so privileged to stand beside, who can articulate this and cut through it and talk about it clearly. So I put that out. I don't know what the Calgary principles exactly might be. I don't know what the process might be, but I want to propose that we keep going with this process, that it doesn't end with what Judge DeLong has to say on June the 7th.
Who's the next war criminal who's coming into Calgary?
I'd like to thank you, Tony. I'd like Cynthia, stand up here for a minute, please. Cynthia. I think it's so important. I have to make a couple of, first of all, I have to personally say that thank you to everybody that's here tonight. I have some special thanks. Ed Wolf, I want to thank you for all your help, my brother, and you are my brother. Ed has allowed me to, on certain occasions, to be able to move a little faster than the pace I was going at. And he's a man that has great integrity, and he's also a man that's in the world of the established world, and he's helped out greatly. And I can't tell you how much I totally respect your help, my brother. Thank you, sir. I want to illustrate right here how important that when you make a decision to do something on a moral level, and you run intervention, or what if you dare to struggle, and then you put yourself on the line, you don't know where it's going to go, what's going to happen, but you have to do what you have to do. And I have to tell you, Cynthia, that one of the greatest moments in my life with working with Tony over here, we're a team. Sometimes we're just about ready to punch each other out. Well, actually, it's only one guy getting punched out. But we go toe to toe a lot of time. But you know what? We're back at it the next day going because we know we got a job to do. But I'll tell you, one of the greatest moments from the whole time since I've been indicted for this Bush attempt to arrest George Bush, is looking on the internet, on YouTube, and getting the word from Tony over here, have you seen Cynthia McKinney on YouTube about you? I said, no. Cynthia McKinney. I said, what would she be doing talking about me for? She said, was she talking about your case there? In Kuala Lumpur. And I want you to tell people what happened there. But I also, not just what you're mentioning me, but I want you to tell them the thousands of delegates that were there to establish, what does it mean where people are establishing independent war crimes tribunals now?
Yes.
I really want you to explain, because we've got to figure out tactics that we can use, and I think that is a part of the Calgary principles, to establish war crimes commissions ourselves.
That's right.
So I see Cynthia talking to thousands of delegates and saying some people can't wait for justice to occur, and they try to take actions themselves to intervene to arrest the war criminals. But could you please explain what the Kuala Lumpur was all about?
Well, he said just what I said, okay?
Sorry.
But I also have joined with the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, Tun Dr. Mahathir, in an effort to hold accountable the leaders of countries who take their countries to war. And so we are looking specifically at torture and at Bagram, Guantanamo Bay, and Abu Ghraib, the victims of torture, and all of the national leaders who are complicit in the decision to support torture, even though it's internationally illegal to engage in torture. And it was there that we were discussing the possibility of setting up a people's tribunal, again, the Malaysia Tribunal on War Crimes. And so it was in the context of people taking action in the face of the failure of national courts and of international courts to take action. And Splitting the Sky is the best example of people taking action. In fact, I'm trying to figure out a way now so that we can do more in terms of not only just talking about his case, but Splitting the Sky needs to be on a speaking circuit to let people actually see that there was one person. You know, there's 300 million people in the United States. It took Splitting the Sky to actually do something. And hopefully, if we can allow his voice to be heard and him to be seen, maybe, you know, and they walk amongst us in the United States. So now maybe I have to follow your lead. I have to do something. And there will be other people. We have to organize so that it is done in a way as Splitting the Sky organized with lawyers, with legal advisors. He had the proper paperwork to do what needed to be done. He studied the law. And what I'm learning now as a juror in this Palestine tribunal is that there are countries all over the world that have universal jurisdiction. And just as Zippy Livni was deterred from traveling to England because she is a war criminal, and in the UK, the individual person has the right to do exactly as you did. They go through the court system, and then the court issues the warrant. So an individual laid the complaint before the court, and the court in Britain acted.
Well,
and
let me
that's why
intervene here. We're getting comments from Montreal where one of our colleagues,
The Truther Girl.
one of the Truther Girls on American Freedom
Yeah,
Radio, did that. She went through the paperwork and she put that down. So we do have people who've been helping us who are coming in to communicate here. Kevin Barrett has, from the beginning, been
Yes.
tremendously supportive of SCS's case. Kevin Barrett's Truth Jihad, Kevin Barrett's academic career for the time being was destroyed at University of Wisconsin because they don't respect academic freedom there, and they don't respect meritocracy.
I think I have a story to tell too. So.
Yeah, so he wants to know how